It's Jen
and Maria,
and welcome to Amateur Kitchen, where we bring you into our kitchen and show you that you don't need to be a professional chef to cook or think like one.
And today we are making waffles.
That's right, for breakfast. That's why we're still in our PJs, because we're bumming it today. So I love making breakfast with you. Today we're making a Belgian waffle, and actually what distincts it to a Belgian waffle is yeast. So it's going to help make it rise and get a little bit fluffier. We're also going to use a cake flour, so it's going to taste more like cake. It's going to be delish. So let's get started. First off, I have 2 cups of lukewarm milk. You can actually warm it up on the stove top, or I just pop mine in the microwave for a minute. And then I'm going to add in 1 packet of yeast. Oh my goodness, I thought I opened this already. Here we go. 1 packet of yeast. And we're going to let this yeast kind of activate. Again, yeast needs something to kind of wake it up and give it some food. So we're just going to stir this, and it's going to take, a couple minutes or so, just till it gets all nice and bubbly on the top. So we'll set that aside for now. And then we have 4 eggs that we're going to actually separate the yolk from the white. So I'm going to have Maria do that for me. And she's a pro now at separating eggs, so I don't need to show her anymore. Woo! And what we're going to do is put the whites in here. So turn it over here, and then put the yolks in here, okay? Okay, and after, go ahead and get started. And after we're done with all of that, we're going to whip up the whites, which will make our batter a little bit fluffier too. Good job. Our egg whites to make them nice and fluffy to form soft peaks at the end of the beaters. Super easy, right? So we'll set that aside for now, and then we're going to blend together our egg yolks along with 2 tablespoons of sugar. So let me get the sugar for you. And go ahead and pour that in. Perfect. And then we'll take our beater again and beat our eggs. Maria's doing such a great job. Keep doing that, and I'm going to pour in our milk mixture with the yeast. And it's cooled off enough that we shouldn't have to temper the eggs, but you can kind of slowly stir it or pour it in at first. Good job. Very nice. And then what I did was I actually melted half a cup of butter, which is 1 stick of butter. And I've allowed for it to cool, so I'm going to pour that in here as well. And this is our liquids. So get that all stirred up very nicely. Looks great. She's getting to be such a professional. Alright, that's perfect. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And we'll just set both of these aside. We have our egg whites along with our egg mixture, our custard. And now it's time for the dry ingredients. Oh my gosh, you're still tired? It's not that early. It's 8:12. Not that early. Alright, so we're going to use some cake flour, and you can just find this by the regular flour. It's a lot sweeter. It's what you traditionally use for cake, and we're going to actually pour in, here's my measuring cup, 2 cups of this cake flour. So I'll measure it and you pour. Oh, perfect. Very easy. And now we're going to take a couple of dashes of cinnamon, actually probably 2 teaspoons. So I'm just going to pour in 2 teaspoons. You can measure it out, or you can just eyeball it. I always say there's cinnamon you can never have too much of, so let's do this. Pour, very good. And then we're going to use some freshly ground nutmeg. I definitely encourage you to buy the fresh nutmeg. It's just kind of a little nut almost. The flavor is non-comparable to the dry that's already dried up. So let's go ahead and use the microplane. Here, you can hold it. And we're gonna want about 1/4 of a teaspoon or so in here. So I'll let you know when it's good. Push down really good. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you. Love this smell. It's so delicious. Now, what we're going to use is 1 vanilla bean that I'm going to take the seeds out of. If you don't have a vanilla bean, because they are on the spendier side, just do 1 teaspoon or 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. I love these vanilla beans though, and we had an extra one because we used it for another recipe, so I thought, what the heck. It only comes with 2 in a jar, so I didn't want to waste it. So what I do is I just open it up lengthwise, and then I just run the back of my knife on it, and then you get all these little seeds. See that? Put that in there, and that's pretty much it. 1½ teaspoon of salt as well. And I know it sounds silly putting salt in, but you really need to do it because it really combines all the flavors so it's not too sweet and stuff. Let's go ahead and grab the blender again and just kind of mix this stuff up. Now we're just going to put it on a 1, otherwise, poof, we're going to get flour all over us. We don't want that to happen. And I'm just going to slowly pour some of this in here. Okay? Okay, go ahead and start stirring. Teamwork. Alright, so all the ingredients are incorporated together. We're going to add in our egg whites now. Let me use this for a second. And with our egg whites, we just want to fold them in, because if we don't fold it, it's going to kind of break it up, and we don't want that to happen because with the egg whites, it makes it a lot fluffier. Okay? So here's how you fold. You bring it out, put it in the middle. Out, middle, out, middle. Okay? Can you try? After we're done folding it in, we're going to let it sit on the countertop for 45 minutes. This is just going to allow for it to rest, get some nice fluffy waffles, and while we're doing that, we're going to get started on our bacon. Best bacon recipe ever. So our waffle mixture is set aside. I'm going to let it sit for 45 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to work on our bacon. I have preheated our oven at 425, and I got some thickly sliced bacon, but get whatever you want, even like that apple wood bacon, and there's some great bacons out there, so go ahead and get that. And I just put it on a slotted pan that I can stick in the oven, and I have put some aluminum foil at the bottom of it so all the fat drippings can drip down. I promise you, once you try this recipe, you will never go back to cooking bacon on the stovetop. Number 1, it gets all that fat kind of out, and then number 2, just the crispiness and taste is so much better. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on some brown sugar over top of it. So go ahead and start with that, Maria. And there's no right or wrong amount, however much you want. So, yep, go ahead and put it on your hand and then just sprinkle it over top of the bacon. Just sprinkle it over top of the bacon. There you go. Really good. So our waffle mixture has set for 45 minutes. We have our bacon in the oven that's smelling delicious. We're going to cook it for about 25 minutes or until it gets to your crispiness desired. So let's go ahead and start making the waffles, okay? So if you can fill up to that fill line, I'm going to actually, go ahead, I'm going to actually spray our waffle maker with some non-stick cooking spray. Just to be sure. You know, I always say, they always say it's non-stick, but it never seems to work out that way. Perfect.
First, I'm gonna take some waffles and then some bacon. Some fruits. then some whipped cream. And then I'm gonna pour some syrup.
So we finished making our waffles for our breakfast. Thank you so much, Maria. I had such a blast this morning. And I think breakfast is probably our favorite time of the day to eat. I love breakfast food, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. You can serve it to me anytime. So should we try out these Belgian waffles? Okay, here we go. So good. You could even get fancy with the syrup and stuff too if you wanted to put some nuts or something in it. You need help? Oh my gosh, it's so good. You can kind of tell the yeast flavor, but it is delish. You know what, before I take another bite of this, do you like? Yeah? I'm gonna eat some of this bacon that has the brown sugar on top. What do you think?
Yeah.
This is so good. You will never, I promise you, make bacon on the stovetop again. It's easy, it's delish because we put that aluminum foil down, easy cleanup. This is what we're having for breakfast. We hope you are too. And join us again next time on
Immature Kitchen.
Thank you.